Alright, what's going on, guys? We're getting to a point now where it's nearly impossible to keep up with all the new Elden Ring information coming out. There is a ton of news, and every single day, more and more keeps coming out. At the time of me recording this, we're still waiting on the network test codes to get emailed out to the winners, but by the time you're watching this, those winners are gonna know. And I do have some advice for those of you that didn't get picked. There may still be a way for you to enter the Elden Ring network test, although it's not pretty and I personally do not support it, but I know how much this game means to people and I am gonna inform you about it just so if you are that desperate and you are willing to do that, then you can still be a part of this experience. But that'll be at the end of the video. We still have a whole lot of other stuff to talk about. But before we get into everything, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. If you want to stay up to date on all the latest Elden Ring news, this channel is going to be your one-stop shop for all things Elden Ring. We cover news, leaks, lore, and I'm always interacting with you guys. So if that sounds appealing, consider subscribing. But now, let's talk about the news. Earlier today, we got a new Elden Ring tweet that covered and gave examples of some of the new gameplay aspects that we already knew about, but that are going to be in Elden Ring and different from Dark Souls in the past. However, that was not all this tweet contained. Hidden in this tweet was an absolute lore bombshell that might have solved one of the biggest mysteries in the lore so far. But let's go ahead and read through the tweet. The shattering tainted these lands with chaos. Even a traveler who follows the path of grace must be cunning and cautious in equal measures. And then it includes a link to the official Elden Ring Discord that just went live on Friday. Now this channel also has our own Discord that's extremely active and full of people that love Elden Ring. The tweet also included these 4 pictures, the first of which highlights the new crouching feature, which if you played Sekiro you know how this works, but it reads, crouch to make it harder for enemies to discover you, especially effective in tall grass. Attacking an enemy that hasn't noticed you will cause more damage than usual. The next picture highlights the guidance of grace, and it reads, grace exists to guide the tarnished and lead them along the proper path. Even now, some sites of grace retain that power. Their golden rays will guide you along your way. Now I saw a lot of complaints today about this being too handholdy of a feature, and while I can kinda see that, since it does always point you in the right direction of your next objective, there's gonna be plenty to get lost in besides the main quest, and you can always choose to just not follow them. But moving on from that, we have stance breaking, which is also familiar to both Dark Souls players and Sekiro players, although it is a little different in Elden Ring, and I'll explain. In Dark Souls, to break an enemy's stance they had to be blocking, and if you ran out their stamina bar they would be open up for a riposte. And obviously in Sekiro we had the posture bar, which just went down naturally in combat. Now this picture says some attacks may break an enemy's stance, giving you a chance to perform a critical hit. Charge attacks and jump attacks make it particularly easy to break an enemy's stance. So it sounds like it's going to be a combination of both Dark Souls and Sekiro. Although there's not going to be a posture bar, they also don't have to be blocking now for their stance to be broken. There is also something else to note in this tweet. The player's wearing a new armor set that we haven't seen before. Now it looks just like standard knight armor, and we can see they're wielding a long sword and a small buckler that looks like a Perry King's dream. But now I want to move on to the most interesting part of this tweet, Stakes of Marika. Upon dying you will be revived at the last site of Lost Grace at which you rested. However, if there is a stake of Marika near where you died, you can choose to be revived there instead. Now for those of you that have been keeping up with the lore, this was an absolute bombshell tweet. Ever since the Summer Games Fest trailer, we've known absolutely nothing about Queen Marika aside from her name. We know she's the mother of the demigods who now hold the Great Runes, the fragmented shards of the Elden Ring which possess a tainted power. Now we don't know who or what shattered the Elden Ring or why, but now because of this tweet we might be one step closer to figuring it out. If we look at the statue we can see it very closely resembles this female version of the blacksmith in the 2019 trailer. You can see the hair is very short on the left side and then follows a long braid on the right. Now this raises a million questions if these are the same person, and we're not going to dive into all of those here. That'll definitely be in a later video. But a few of those questions are, if the 2019 trailer depicts them shattering the Elden Ring, why would the ruler of a perfect world destroy their own land like that? Why does the statue depict a benevolent pose if she committed such a horrible act? And how would this be connected to the Tarnished? So that's what we need to be thinking about. But moving on from that, network test codes have started to go out around the the world. Although the dates that Bandai Namco said they were going to come out haven't really followed. The website said codes for the US were going to go out on the 8th, and so far that hasn't happened. As of me recording this right now, it's the morning of the 9th, and the only region that has received all of their codes is Japan. And this has caused a lot of people to freak out, mainly in the US, but rest assured, the emails have not officially gone out yet, so as of right now, the morning of the 9th, you're still good. And with the codes being distributed in Japan, players can now download the network test for Elden Ring and access the main menu, even though the scheduled playtimes are not open yet. So that means we can get a good listen to the title screen music, and it may sound familiar. I'm gonna play you guys a really quick snippet of that, so if that's something you don't want to be spoiled on, skip ahead like 30 seconds, but here it goes. So as you can hear, it does appear to be a slightly updated version of the 2019 music, and I love it. It fits the main menu and the theme perfectly, and really gets me hyped up to play the game. And speaking of playing the game, we are not all going to get to. There's going to be a lot of us that don't get codes today, even though I know we all really want to get our hands in early access into Elden Ring. So if you are one of the people who are unfortunate and do not get a code, there is still a way for you to get into the network test. And before I talk about that, let me say, I do not support this practice at all. I am extremely against this behavior, but since this is already becoming a reality, you might as well be aware of it. So as we all predicted, back markets are starting to pop up for scalped Elden Ring network test codes. And what that means is people are getting their codes, and instead of playing it, they're selling them online for a high price. Now I was made aware of one site that is doing it, and I am not going to tell you what that site is or link it for obvious reasons. However, the prices were ranging anywhere from $70 to $100 per code. Now I believe Bandai Namco was taking action against these sites, and honestly I'm not sure of the legality of it, but I did want to make you guys aware that that is a possibility if you do not get a code. Now with that being said, if you choose to go this route, I'm just going to be honest with you, you run a high likelihood of getting scammed. That's just the reality of it, but any risk you choose to take is on you, and I would recommend trying to take as many safe measures as you can so that if anybody does sell you a used code, you don't lose all that money. And once again, I do not recommend this, I just wanted to keep you guys informed. But anyways guys, that's all I've got for you for this video. I've got my fingers crossed that all of us get a code into the network test, and if you're hyped up to get into this network test, leave a like on the video and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest Elden Ring news. But with that, I'll catch you in the next one.